We're back here on Rage Internet Radio. We're talking about the Bruins. We're going to move on from the Bruins and talk about, well, not really move on, but we're going to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs and Phil Kessel real quick. I just want to say, you know, Phil Kessel saying that he and his coach, Ron Wilson, don't really talk. That's what he said. That's all I got to say about that. Frustration, obviously, coming from Phil Kessel. Frustration, obviously, from Ron Wilson. And recently, Brian Burke has sit down with both of them and set them straight, basically. But I want to go back to this because this is what Phil Kessel does. This is what he did in Boston, okay? You had two reasons why he left Boston. Number one, listen, the Bruins handed out contracts left and right, so it's hard to believe that they wouldn't hand one out to him. He's a whiner, he's a complainer, and he's not a team player. That's what it comes down to with Phil Kessel. It's give me the puck, and I'm going to try and score. And I'm not going to hit anybody. I'm not going to show any toughness. I'm not going to work within your system. Those are the things that seem to come along with Phil Kessel. He doesn't work well in a system. If the coach says, listen, this is what we're going to be trying to do. This is what we're going to look to do. At first, I feel like Phil Kessel probably says, okay, but in the back of his mind, like, no, this isn't going to work. Phil Kessel just wants to be told, listen, everybody do this, except for you, Phil. Phil, you can do whatever you want, but everybody else follow this system. That's what Phil wants to be told. So you know what? I'm so glad that the Bruins did trade him because we got Tyler Seguin, sorry. You know, we're halfway through the season, and I mean, Tyler's doing okay. He's not the, he's not scoring as much as Phil Kessel is, but who knows what he will be doing. But what he is doing is playing within a role and playing within the system. There were countless times where Phil Kessel, for you Maple Leafs fans who don't know, there were countless times where Phil Kessel was sat down by Coach Claude Julien, because he wasn't playing within the system, or he wasn't doing what he was supposed to, so he was sat down. And I know what he's thinking. He's thinking, I don't care about this system. I just want to score. That's all it is. It's about me. It's not about the team. And now he's in Toronto, where you have Burke and Ron Wilson and an established, mindset, a way to play the game. And it's too controlled for Phil Kessel, from what I believe. And they'll never be good with Phil Kessel unless they bring in some other big names. But even when he was on the Bruins, they had big names all around him. He had Mark Savard on the same line. I mean, how can you do any better than that? But the guy just doesn't fit. He just doesn't fit unless you move him somewhere like to Edmonton or the New York Islanders, or maybe the Islanders or some other team like that where, they're clearly insane as it is because they signed DiPietro for a 15-year contract. So what do they know? They don't know what they're doing over there. Or someplace where it's the coaching structure and the gameplay structure isn't so focused and isn't so drawn up, because and I honestly don't know that much this year about Toronto's game plan, but I'll tell you, Phil Kessel is hard to mold. Even when you're winning. The Bruins were on a 4-game winning streak, and they sat down Phil Kessel. So it has nothing to do with losing. It has to do with if he's scoring every game. And you know what? He had 2 games where he had no points and no goals, and sure enough, he's benched. And it wasn't because he wasn't scoring, it was because he wasn't operating the way they wanted him to. Just some small things, and I'm sure he wasn't happy about it. And I'm sure he wasn't happy about being sat down. It's the Anakin Skywalker effect, okay? It's the, listen, I know you think you know what you're doing, and there's no question about your skills, but we have to do it this way. And him saying, listen, you're stupid, and I am the man. And this place clearly is just crazy, and I got to get out of here. And so that's why he was happy in Toronto. But now we're seeing the same Phil Kessel come back out, because that's what he does. He whines and complains, and then he wants to leave. He's prima donna. That's all I got to say about Phil Kessel. I'm sorry, Toronto, but you're stuck with him, and good luck with that, because I saw it here for 4 years, or for 3 years with the Bruins, and or for 4, I guess it was 4 years. And yeah, he's great when it comes to scoring goals, and and everything, but he's a one-dimensional player. It's straight to the net with that fancy wrist shot, and that's it. That's all he's got. And if someone like that, who can score 40 goals a season, but is so one-dimensional and has this baggage and this whining that comes along with it, well, I don't know. I might trade that too. I probably would have traded him too. But anyway, that's all there is. RageInternetRadio.com is relaunching February 14th. Check us out at RageInternetRadio.com. We'll be talking hockey and some baseball this week. And we'll be interviewing some bands, some of them from Canada, too. There's a couple Canadian bands coming on. So that will be interesting for the people who are checking us out for the first time. RageInternetRadio.com. I'm Dan. We'll be right back out.